Yeah, my name is Walter Koditek. I'm German from Berlin originally, and I studied urban planning. So I'm urban planner by profession, but then also since the last 10 to 15 years, I focused more on writing books and doing photography and exhibitions. Well, I knew CAP from when I was first arriving in Cambodia in roughly 2007, so 19 years ago, long time ago. I haven't been to CAP since, but I found it a fascinating place then when I arrived, and when I heard about the opportunity for Art for CAP, and I knew about the history of CAP and treasure of architecture from the 1960s here, it was a no-brainer to apply, and I'm happy I did. I found them based on different sources. For example, there had been 12 years ago, they had a survey by students from Paris and Phnom Penh, and they, at that time, they still found, let's say, 160 structures, not all in good condition, some in ruins, but they found a lot. So I had the mapping, the survey on that time. Based on that, I drove around with a motorbike, and sometimes I just found things by chance passing by. Plus, the last one would be I looked at old satellite images and checked where I found some structures, and then mapped them, and then just drove there intentionally. Well, my main motivation is to document this kind of architecture from the period of independence, you can say, from the Sangkum-Era, so from the 1953 to 1970, to document this architecture while it's still there. I was not sure how much is still there, but I found enough and it was worthwhile doing. And then by taking photos, I document this architecture, but also I focus on different elements. For example, obviously I have these full shots of the whole building, but then I also focus on architectural elements, or for example on finishings and materials like these beautiful floor tiles or the plaster walls. It's true. I found about 70 structures, 70, and of these, many were in very bad condition, dilapidated and really in ruins, and some in gardens that were completely fully overgrown, became jungle, and with long thorns and really nasty insects, red ants, if you know what I mean. So that was kind of a challenge, but also exciting. You feel a bit like Indiana Jones, It reminded me of Angkor 20 years ago when the temples were still overgrown, but the most challenging and rememberable was probably I have been really quite dangerously chased by dogs on the motorbike, and they came pretty close and pretty aggressive. So that's what I remember. Well, let me first say this time here, 4 weeks, was an incredible time. I mean, when do you have the opportunity and the luxury to focus 4 weeks full time on one project without taking care of anything else? That was the real new experience for me, and I found out I can do a lot in 4 weeks if I focus on something. So that was a very good experience, and I can really recommend that to any artist. But for the future, I mean, now we have all these series of photos and documentation, and I also did some mapping. Yeah, we're talking about doing a more comprehensive exhibition, maybe towards end of this year during the Art Week in CAP. Hopefully also combined with another already existing exhibition, which was called CAP Expo from 2016, that we want to bring to CAP about the history of CAP. So it would be a perfect match, and I think for my motivation, I hope people recognize CAP has a very unique history from this early independent nation, Cambodia. It was the flashy resort to be for all the prominent people, and we have very distinctive architecture. Some of it left, try to raise some understanding and awareness about the value of this architecture, culturally, aesthetically, historic. So that's basically my motivation. Well, I mean, my work here that I did here was all about CAP. I mean, I couldn't do this work anywhere else. I came here intentionally to look into the history of CAP and what is left of the built legacy, let's say, of the history of CAP. Couldn't have done it without Art for CAP, without this opportunity. So basically, that's my answer. Thank you.